Shalom, I'm Rabbi Jonathan Ginsburg of the Ezra Habonim Niles Township Jewish Congregation. This video is about Lag Baomer. Lag Baomer simply means the 33rd day of the Omer. The Omer. The Torah says that we're supposed to count every day from by tradition, the second night of Pesach all the way to Shavuot. Now, it's not called Shavuot in the Torah, it's simply the 50th day after counting the 7 weeks. Now, why do we do this? Well, the Torah commands to do it, and it's probably to link the message of Passover, which is freedom, with the message of the end of that period, which is the giving of the Torah. Of course, there are agricultural meanings during the time of the Bible. Now, subsequently to that, this period was understood as a semi-mourning period, M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G. Why? Well, the Talmud records that during this period there was a plague that killed 24,000 students of the great sage of the 2nd century, Rabbi Akiva. And the plague mysteriously stopped on the 33rd day of the counting of this Omer, which is also called the Sphira, which means the counting. Now, was there really a plague? Well, the Talmud says there was a plague, and they died because of unjust hatred, causeless hatred of one another, sinat chinam. It's also possible that since there was a rebellion going on by the Jews against Rome at the time, Rabbi Akiva was the major supporter of a fellow he thought that was a Messiah called Bar Kokhba, whose name was changed to Bar Kokhba. It could be that these were actually the soldiers fighting Rome who died. In any case, because of the death, the mourning period was instituted by the Talmud. Subsequently, in Jewish history, as I explained on another YouTube video on the Omer, it was understood differently by different eras of Judaism as to why we should mourn. Now, Lag Baomer specifically, what is it associated with today, and how do we celebrate? In Israel, it's a time actually for bonfires and picnics. Tens of thousands of Jews, especially the Seforim, go to Mount Meron in the north of Israel and have a big festive time. That is the burial site of a great sage and disciple of Rabbi Akiva from the 2nd century named Shimon bar Yochai. He is supposed to be the author of the Jewish great mystical text, the Zohar, although many scholars think it was written much later. He was probably the inspiration of it. And it's his yahrzeit, the anniversary of the date of his death. And so it becomes a great celebration to reflect on his life and the value of his life. And so many Jews congregate there, have parties. There's a custom, too, of cutting the hair of 3-year-old Jewish boys for the first time on that day at that site by the Seforim, and the Hasidim also have a special ceremony when they cut the hair for the first time. Shimon bar Yochai also has some very interesting stories associated with him. Supposedly, he and his son spent 12 years studying just Torah in a cave. And during that 12 years they studied Torah, they finally emerged, and Shimon bar Yochai expresses angst about the fact that he saw Jews working for a living and not studying Torah. And a voice from heaven tells him to go back into the cave. He obviously didn't learn enough. They castigate him for that view because obviously people need to work. Another custom associated with Lag Baomer are bows and arrows. School children played bows and arrows. Now why? Well, one theory is that when the children were studying in the quote-unquote illegal schools, because the Romans forbade the study of Torah, they would keep bows and arrows handy in case the Roman soldiers came by. They would put away their books and pretend that they were preparing bows and arrows. Now, one of the mystical understandings of this, of course, is that before a bow can fly and unleash its power, it has to be drawn close to the heart. And so we need to draw everything close to our heart and to see our spiritual dimensions based on our heart before we can unleash the power to help light the world. So these are some of the great traditions of Lag Baomer. It's the one time in the 49-day period when all Jews will have parties and celebrations and merriment. In 2007, it's associated in Chicago with the Walk for Israel and many other festivities. So I wish you all a happy Lag Baomer, celebration of this wonderful time in the Jewish year.